Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to tackle one of the trickiest question types in the IELTS reading test, matching information. I know it can look a bit scary because you have to find very specific pieces of information in the text and they are not in order. But don't worry, with the right strategy and a bit of practice you'll see it's much more manageable than it looks. I'm here to guide you through it, step by step. So let's get started with our practice passage. Take a deep breath, relax and let's focus together. Remember, the main goal here is to learn and practice the strategy, not to get every answer perfect on the first try. We'll start by getting a general feel for the text and mapping out the paragraphs. Think of this as a warm-up before we dive into the questions. If you'd like to solve this question yourself, just click the link in the description. And for many more practice questions, visit iltspro.uk, your place to get ready for IELTS with confidence. Get ready! The real IELTS begins now! Urbanization. First, let's look at the title. It's just one word, urbanization. This tells us the entire passage will be about the process of cities growing. This helps us focus our minds on the topic. Paragraph A. This first paragraph functions as a definition. It tells us what urbanization is. The gist is that urbanization is a major global shift of people moving to cities, which started a long time ago. For matching information, we should flag potential anchor words. I see a process being defined, a historical event mentioned, the Industrial Revolution, and some locations like Europe and North America. These details might be what a question is looking for. Paragraph B. This paragraph explains the reasons why people move to cities. Its main function is to list the causes or pull factors. The gist is that cities attract people with jobs, better education, and healthcare. Let's flag some anchor words. I see a list of causes like employment, education, and healthcare. It also mentions another cause for population growth besides migration, which seems important. Paragraph C. This paragraph uses the word however, which signals a shift to the negative side. Its function is to describe the problems or challenges of urbanization. The gist is that rapid city growth causes many problems, like housing shortages, pressure on services, and social issues. Anchor words here are all related to problems: housing shortages, pressure on public services, pollution, and social issues like crime. Paragraph D. This final paragraph starts with "despite these challenges," which tells us it's going to offer a solution or a concluding perspective. Its function is to provide a recommendation for managing urbanization. The gist is that we can't stop urbanization, so we must manage it well through good planning. I'll flag words related to solutions or recommendations, such as manage it sustainably and effective urban planning. The key strategy for matching information questions is to work from the questions to the passage. First, we'll read each question carefully and highlight the keywords. Then, we'll scan the paragraphs we've just mapped out to locate where that specific information is discussed. Remember, the answers are not in order, and you might need to use a paragraph more than once. The most important thing is to match the meaning, not just the words. An explanation for urban population growth that is not related to migration. Okay, let's look at our first question. It asks for an explanation for urban population growth that is not related to migration. This means we are looking for a different reason why the number of people in cities increases, other than people moving in from the countryside. We know paragraph A and paragraph B both mention migration, but let's check paragraph B again, as I thought I saw another reason there. The final answer is B. Paragraph B talks mostly about migration, but it ends with this sentence: natural increase in the urban population itself, as birth rates in cities can initially remain high, while mortality rates fall due to better sanitation and medical care. This is a perfect match for a reason for population growth that is not migration. A reference to the negative effects of urbanization on social harmony and security. Alright, question 2. We need to find a reference to the negative effects of urbanization on social harmony and security. The keywords are negative effects, social harmony, and security. When we skimmed the paragraphs, we noted that paragraph C was all about the problems and challenges. This seems like the most likely place to find our answer. The final answer is C. Paragraph C lists many negative effects, and specifically mentions social ones at the end. Socially, rapid urbanization can lead to increased inequality, crime, and the erosion of traditional community structures. Crime directly relates to security, and inequality and erosion of community structures relate to social harmony, so this paragraph contains the information. Identification of the historical starting point of the shift towards city living. Let's move on. Question 3 asks for the historical starting point of the shift towards city living. The key phrase here is historical starting point. We're looking for a specific time or event in history. This kind of background information is often found in the introductory paragraph. So my first guess is paragraph A. The final answer is A. Paragraph A defines the trend of urbanization and gives its origin story, stating that it began during the Industrial Revolution in Europe and North America. This is a clear identification of the historical starting point. An assertion that the goal should be the regulation of urban growth, not its prevention. Okay, question 4. We need to find a statement that the goal should be the regulation of urban growth, not its prevention. This sounds like a piece of advice or a conclusion about what should be done. Our paragraph map suggests that paragraph D deals with managing urbanization and offers solutions. Let's check there. The final answer is D. Paragraph D directly addresses this idea. It says, "The key for governments and city planners is not to halt this trend but to manage it sustainably." This is a perfect paraphrase. Not to halt means not to prevent, and to manage it means to regulate it. Examples of municipal services being unable to cope with a rising population. And our last question. We are looking for examples of municipal services being unable to cope. Municipal services are public services like water, transport, and waste collection. Unable to cope means they are overwhelmed. This clearly fits into the theme of problems and challenges, which we identified in paragraph C. The final answer is C. Paragraph C is exactly where we find this information. It says that a large influx of people can overwhelm existing infrastructure and puts immense pressure on public services like water supply, sanitation, and transportation. These are the specific examples the question is asking for. So, there you have it. We've successfully matched all the information. The key strategies we used today were: first, skimming the paragraphs to get a general map of the text, and second, reading the questions carefully to highlight keywords, and then scanning for that specific information. This way, you don't have to read every word in detail. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more IELTS questions, and follow us at ieltspro.uk for complete resources and practice materials.